Harrison Ford is one of the last great movie stars. There just doesn't seem to be that many new ones being birthed into the Hollywood system anymore. And, Harrison Ford's iconic, especially to Gen Xers. I mean, for many of us, he's sort of like a hero. I mean, he played Han Solo, Indiana Jones. I mean, even you can even throw Jack Ryan in there as these great heroic characters that Harrison Ford has played. But there was a film that came out in the mid 1980s that is, in my opinion, his best, or at least his best performance. Maybe not the best film, but I think it might be what Harrison Ford did as an actor, his greatest achievement. Peter Weir was a director he was really front and center of the Australian New Wave that came onto this project, that the film that Harrison Ford was in, well after it was greenlit, and he added his own substantial influence to it. And I really believe what results is a dynamic film that in some ways hides just how complex it is. This movie's a thriller with an amazing performance by Harrison Ford at its core. This film is 1985's Witness, and in this video, I'm going to share why I think it is the best performance that Harrison Ford has given on the screen. Witness is the story of an Amish boy who witnesses a murder in a Philadelphia train station restroom when his family has traveled to the city to visit a relative. The murder in the film that the boy witnessed draws Harrison Ford's character, who goes by the name John Book, Detective John Book, into the story. And what you have is this surprisingly insightful look into the juxtaposition of two cultures, with Harrison Ford's detective character John Book on one side and the beautiful Amish widow Rachel Lapp on the other. This tension that you see throughout the film draws out what I think are some of the best acting of Harrison Ford's career. So the question is, like, what is it about Harrison Ford's performance in Witness that anybody can claim that is one of his best? Well, I think there's really kind of three things that happens in the film that really makes me think this might be his best performance. The first is that the role of John Book, it requires this tremendous amount of range. For a lot of stars and, kind of iconic heroes, you don't really get to see a ton of range. They're doing one thing. They're just being a hero in a lot of cases. In Witness, it's a little bit different. You have this tough Philadelphia detective who becomes a wounded man. He gets shot and wounded, and he's in need of the help of those that rely on peace and nonviolence as a way of life. This creates tremendous tension for Book, and Ford brilliantly has to show how uncomfortable he is in this new world. And that right there alone really kind of makes Harrison Ford shine and show us just what he's capable of doing as an actor. Another aspect of the film that highlights Ford as an actor and really just shows just how talented he is how he's able to make us believe that his John Book, this Philadelphia detective, is falling in love or in love with Rachel, an Amish woman. Obviously, this stuff doesn't happen every day, and I think sometimes when you watch the movie Witness, you don't realize how important it is for both actors, Harrison Ford and Kelly McGillis, to show us that they're falling in love with each other, that they are in love with each other. And, you have this big city cop, John Book, and he is drawn to this Amish woman who is so very far removed from Book's world. They're living and existing in two different places. And throughout the film, Ford shows us, and he doesn't tell us that he cares for Rachel deeply. It's that show don't tell rule that you get in movies. And John Book, in the film Witness, is just profoundly conflicted with this reality that he's of a different world, yet he's in love with this woman that's Amish. And it's really beautiful and heart-wrenching stuff. And it really feels, I don't know, grown up and mature compared to a lot of the storytelling that we're getting today from major Hollywood studios. It just feels almost like a different world of cinema when you watch a film like Witness and then you just put on Netflix and pick something more recent that has similar themes. And I think that, coupled with just the range Ford shows and how he's trying to deal with this other culture, I think that alone, it just shows just how special this film is. The third thing is, and I think it's the tallest order for Ford, is he needs to show that he's changed by the Amish people, in that he's going to carry back to his world this renewed, almost like humility and kindness. It's a sad film, but you definitely feel when it comes to a close that John Book is a different human being. And it's weird. It's like his job as a detective in Philadelphia is almost stripped his humanity in some ways. And he starts to regain this humanity that he had lost. And you see it play out in the movie. For example, in the barn raising scene where the community, the town, they come together to bless this family in a way that's truly priceless. They build a barn in a day, basically. And it's a beautiful sequence, and it highlights really how Book is changing and how doing something for others is like healing more than just this gunshot wound that he gets earlier in the movie. And there are so many moments in this film that are special that show these things. They show his being uncomfortable with this world, this Amish world that he's thrown into, and how he's sort of wounded and that this world is healing him, his love for Rachel, and also just this transforming that takes place. And I really believe this is Ford's best. And, you know, it builds to this really intense climactic showdown that is riveting. It's not over the top. Witness is a film that is very subtle. There is looks, there is maybe gestures, there's little things throughout the film that builds the tension. And when it comes to this action sequence at the end, even that's a little understated compared to the action films of the 1980s or even thrillers of the 1980s. And I really believe that it's those things plus the chemistry between Harrison Ford and Kelly McGillis that just makes this film profound. It's absolutely believable that these two characters are falling in love, and the performances of these actors are stunning. It's good stuff. And so while I adore Indiana Jones and Han Solo, and I would be a different human if it wasn't for those characters, Ford's performance as John Book is one that I think is his best. I'm curious, though, what do you think? Is it Mosquito Coast, the next film he makes with Peter Weir? What is Ford's best performance? Or if it maybe it's just something iconic like Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, best performance. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks so much for watching.